Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be upcycling a pair of jeans into a tote bag that can be also used as a handbag, a shoulder bag, and if you make it small enough, even a purse. It's a great way to repurpose your old pants, and it's also super easy to do. So if you are new to sewing, you should have no problem found the easy step-by-step tutorial. With all that being said, let's get started. In getting started with supplies, you'll need one pair of pants, and you can use any style of pants for this project. I'll be using a pair of denim jeans, but if you're looking for a different fabric for your bag, then you can switch it up and use corduroy, canvas, or even twill. The assembly process will be the same no matter what pants you use. But anyways, moving on to the first step, we're going to measure down 2 to 3 inches from the center seam on the inseam and cut off the pant legs. We will be using the fabric from the pant legs in later steps, but for the moment we can place them off to the side. Next, we need to separate the front panel from the back panel, and the first thing we need to do is dethread the remaining portion of the inseam. Once you have the bottom opened up, we're going to line up the front and back panels along the waistband and side seams. You should have even measurements from the center on both sides. For this next step, we're going to cut down the side seams to completely separate the front and back panels, but the biggest obstacle are the rivets on the pocket and also keeping the pocket structure. We can't cut or sew through the rivet, and we also don't want to cut the pocket, so we're going to cut on the back panel in between the back pocket and the side seam. But try to cut as close as you can to the side seam so the back and front panel are the same width. You also want to give yourself enough seam allowance clearance along the rivet. And once you're ready, go ahead and make the cut. And again, you're trying to make the same cut on both sides. Now we can separate the panels with the right sides facing up, and as you can see, the panels aren't sitting perfectly flat. For the front panel, we're going to dethread the center seam to the bottom of the fly, and for the back panel, we're going to dethread the seam to the center of the pockets. And you will want to use a dethreader because we're trying to keep these seams intact to restitch them. With both panels dethreaded, all we have to do is overlap the two sides and it will sit perfectly flat. If your back panel is still not sitting flat, then you can dethread a little bit higher. The bottom section of mine has a raw edge poking out, so what I'm going to do is fold that under so it's a nice clean edge. Then from here, all you have to do is place a few pins along the seam and do the same thing for the front panel. The front panel is a little bit easier. It doesn't need as much correction to sit flat. With both panels sitting perfectly flat, what we're going to do is place a stitch in the old factory stitch path. The seams I'm working with are double stitched, so what I'm going to do is place a single stitch in each one of the stitch paths. Once you're ready, take it to your sewing machine and stitch both the front and back panels. It is best to match the thread color to what's on the jeans to help everything blend together and make it look like a factory stitch. Now we can clean up the excess fabric on the wrong side, and to do this you just want to cut as close as you can to the stitch. With that taken care of, we're going to place the front panel on top of the back panel, lining up the waistband and sides. Depending on where you made the cut along the side, your front panel might be a little bit wider than the back panel. Don't worry, that's totally fine. Most of this will become seam allowance in future steps. We mainly just wanted the extra clearance to avoid the rivet. But anyways, now that we have the front and back panel lined up, you can see that the back panel is a little bit longer than the front panel, so we're going to clean it up and make the bottoms flush. Now for the next step, you can actually take two different paths. I typically would make a lining, but for this video, I'm not going to make the lining. I'm just going to use the material I have to work with. But if you do want to make a lining and make it very professional, all you have to do is use a very lightweight fabric, cut the lining fabric to the same exact size as the front and back panel, then sew both of these lining panels to the front and back panel along the top edge on the wrong side. This will cover up all the raw material on the inside. I actually like the raw look on the inside, so I'm going to leave this bag without a lining. Plus, all the seams on the inside are finished, so there's no raw edges and it's not going to fray over time. So it really comes down to preference whether you want to add a lining or not. But anyways, moving on to the next step, we're going to place the front panel on top of the back panel, lining up the top and side edges. And as you can see, the corners are very pointy. What we want to do is round those corners out so it's easier to attach the side panel. There's really no right way to do this. There's only an easier way, and the rounder you make it, the easier it's going to be to attach the side panel. Also try to make them the same on both sides. Moving right along to the next step, cut two 24-inch strips of 1.5-inch width webbing. We'll be using these to create the handles. If you don't want to use webbing, you can always use a leg panel to create the handles. And they don't have to be exactly 28 inches. You can always change up the size for shorter or longer handles. And since I'm using webbing before I sew it on, I actually want to do one more modification to really make it look like a handle. And all I'm going to do is fold it in half so the edges are perfectly lined up. And I'm going to leave 4 inches on both ends unfolded. This will be my attachment point. Since webbing is pretty hard to pin, I'm just going to mark each of these sides with chalk. And once you're ready, take it to your sewing machine and stitch as close as you can to the outside edge. And what this does is going to round that webbing out and make it look more like a handle. It's also going to be a lot easier to grip when you're holding the bag. Next, we want to figure out where to place the handles along the waistband, and this may vary based on the size pants you're using. For the pair of pants I'm using, the belt loops on the front panel get in the way, so what I'm going to do is dethread the belt loops and place the handles behind the belt loops. And I'm only dethreading the top of the belt loop. Then I'm going to fold the webbing at the bottom of the handle and line it up perfectly with the belt loop. When it comes to stitching, I'm going to pull the belt loop back and stitch the bottom of the handle first. Then I'm going to lay the belt loop back down and stitch the top of the handle along with the belt loop. And before you sew, make sure you have the handles on the front and back panel perfectly lined up, or else it's going to be offset when you hold the bag. And once you're ready, take it to your sewing machine and add a tack stitch at the bottom edge of each handle and also at the top of each handle. And you may want to go back and forth a few times to really lock down those handles so they don't rip out over time when you have a lot of weight inside the bag. And like I said previously, if you don't want to use webbing for the handles, you don't need to use webbing. You can use the leg material instead, or you can even swap it out for chain or leather. But other than that, the front and back panels are complete, so for the moment we can place them off to the side and grab one of the leg panels that we cut off in previous steps. Now as you can see, I'm working with a wider leg pant, which is going to give me a wider side panel. If you're working with a skinnier pant and you want a wider side panel, you can still do that. Just follow the same up and coming steps, but just make 2 out of both pant legs and sew them together to double the width, but we'll get more into that in later steps. For the moment, we want to cut off both side seams. And what we're doing is splitting this leg panel up into 2 sections so we can make it long enough to fit the outside edge of the front and back panels. So you want to write down that measurement and then place the right sides together for the 2 panels and make it the exact length as the outside edge of the front and back panel. We're essentially making one long side panel, so you're going to want to remove from the top edge to match your measurements. And once you're ready, we're going to sew that top edge, flip the right sides out, and add a top stitch. And you'll want to make sure you're sewing at the correct seam allowance for your specific measurements. And after sewing, it's best to measure the length to make sure it matches up with your measurements, because you can always make adjustments at this point. If everything checks out, the next step is adding the shoulder strap hardware. You want 2 5-inch strips of webbing and 2 D-rings. If you're not going to be adding the shoulder strap, then you can skip this step. Feed the webbing through the D-ring and fold the edges inward. Place this new assembly in the center of the side panel along the top edge. And I'll be placing mine just below the hem. Once you have both sides lined up, take it to your sewing machine and add a tack stitch at the bottom and top edge of the webbing. Just like with the handles, it's best to go back and forth a few times to really lock down the webbing so it doesn't rip out when you're using the shoulder strap. And if your denim is thinner like mine, you may want to do a box stitch. But that's going to do it for the side panel. Now we can move on to the next step and grab the front panel. And what we're going to be doing is lining that side panel up along the outside edge of the front panel. So starting at one side, place the right sides together and place pins all along the outside edge. If you did it correctly, then the hemmed edges of the side panel should line up with the waistband. To speed up the process, we're going to add the back panel to the opposite side of the side panel. Place the right sides together and line it up the same way, placing pins all along the outside edge. Once you have both the front and back panels lined up, take it to your sewing machine and stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And it really does help using pins so the layers don't shift around as you're sewing. Quickly double check both sides, make sure all the layers got stitched together, and then flip the right sides out. For this next step, we're going to be adding a top stitch along the outside edge, and this is actually going to cover up the raw edge on the inside. To do this, we're going to pinch that edge together and we're going to place our stitch on the outside of the seam allowance. By doing this, it's going to seal off that raw edge and give you a nice clean inside. And depending on the thickness of pants you're using, this stitch can get fairly bulky, so just take your time as you're sewing. But once you're ready, take it to your sewing machine, stitch to the front side and also the back side. And I do recommend matching your thread color to your fabric color to hide any small imperfections. But as you can see, this really cleaned up that edge, made it more structured, and also cleaned up the inside by hiding the raw edge. This is another reason I didn't add the lining, because you can really speed up the production process and you can also get a clean inside. And the final step is adding your branding. I use leather strips added with double-sided rivets, but feel free to switch it up and use embroidery, screen print, or even woven tags. And the cool thing about this design is that all the pockets on the pants are usable on the tote as well. We got the front side pockets and also the back pockets. The size of these pockets will vary based on the pants you're using, but overall it still adds to the look. You also still need to make a shoulder strap. You can either make one or use one from another bag. I just made mine out of the same webbing using 2 lobster clasps and a strap slider. With this current design, I was left with 1 extra leg panel, so I'm actually going to put this away for future projects. But there is a lot of material here. You can actually use it to make another smaller tote. It won't be as big as the original, but you can scale it down and use the same shape. Either way, it's a nice piece of fabric, so it doesn't have to go to waste. And like I mentioned before, the width of the side panel does play a big role in how big the bag is going to be. I had wide pants, so it turned out fairly nice, but you can always sew together 2 leg panels to make a wider side panel. But other than that, I hope you had some fun with this upcycling project, you picked up a few new skills, and you made a one-of-a-kind tote bag. And there you have it, your new denim tote shoulder bag is complete. Hopefully yours turned out as good as mine did, and I know the size really depends on the size of the pants you're using. The wider you go, the bigger you can make it. Or if you find a super small pair of pants, you can make a little handbag. Also, using different styles of pants like corduroy or canvas really changes up the look. So if you're looking to make more of a utility bag, I recommend going with the canvas. But other than that, I'd love to see what you come up with, so tag me on Instagram at Proper Fit Clothing, and until then, I'm going to keep the videos coming at you, so I'll see you next time.